Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters Show. It's the 26th of November 25. Today we're doing a deep dive into the Malaysian market. It's a fascinating picture, really. We're seeing some sectors hitting, record highs, while at the same time, global friction is creating some serious headwinds for others.
It's a real split market. Okay, let's start with the good news, maybe. The domestic financial system looks incredibly robust.
You're talking about the banks, like Alliance Bank.
Exactly. They just logged their best quarter in 3 years. But it's not just the profit number.
Right, it's what's behind it.
It's what's behind it. You've got strong income generation, sure, but also much lower provisions for bad debt. That tells you there's growing confidence in the credit market.
And we're seeing that strength bleed over into manufacturing, too. Leong Industries, for example.
A record quarterly profit for them, driven by, of all things, really strong motorcycle demand. And they've boosted their dividend payout, which is always a good sign.
And what about Southern Cable Group? Their profit almost doubled.
Yeah, that's a huge one. This is a direct result of Malaysia's electrification supercycle.
The NETR, the National Energy Transition Roadmap.
That's the one. All that and other major infrastructure builds, they are perfectly positioned to, well, rewire the country.
But it's not all smooth sailing. Greatech technology is feeling the pinch from overseas.
A really stark reminder, yeah. Their Q3 profit dropped by over 17%. And it's because these tariff complexities in the U.S. are making their American customers, delay their investment decisions.
So the geopolitical friction hits fast. Okay, what about other corporate moves? WCT Holdings had a huge profit drop.
It looks dramatic, a 94% nosedive, but it's mainly because of a high base last year from a one-off gain. The really crucial thing is they just secured a massive new contract.
For the North-South Expressway expansion.
$365 million contract. That secures their future cash flow, so it's not as bad as the headline sounds.
And speaking of strategy, Greatech Digital CEO is pretty clear.
Very clear. Don't expect dividends. All their capital is going straight into acquisitions, pure growth mode.
Which is the opposite end of the spectrum from Maju Holdings.
The absolute opposite. They were denied judicial management, and now they're facing a winding up petition next month. A very tough situation.
Okay, let's shift from corporate news to national policy, because there are some enormous shifts happening, starting with Johor.
This is huge. Johor is partnering with the World Bank and Detrolic Energy for a U.S. $6 billion renewable energy project.
The Southern Johor Renewable Energy Corridor, or SGREC.
Yeah, and the scale is just, wow, it's a 2,000 square kilometer hybrid solar and battery zone. We're talking 125,000 jobs and, critically, the ability to export clean energy to Singapore through the Asian power grid. It's a game changer for the region.
On the governance side, we're seeing some key reforms moving forward. The anti-bullying bill is about to be tabled.
Right, on December 1st. And it's comprehensive. It covers physical, verbal, and the online space.
And there's also talk of a constitutional amendment next year.
Yes, to fully separate the roles of the Attorney General and the public prosecutor. That's a major step for transparency. Separately, we'll find out on December 22nd if former Prime Minister Najib Razak can serve his remaining sentence under house arrest.
Interesting. And on the regulatory front, the communications minister is looking at a floor price for courier services. Why is that?
Well, because the market is dominated by just two players. J&T Express and SPX Express control almost 74% of it. So a floor price is designed to protect smaller companies and ensure, fair competition.
Makes sense. Okay, let's turn global. The AI chip war is getting really intense.
It really is. Meta is apparently in talks to spend billions on Google's Tensor processing units, their TPUs.
Which would be a direct challenge to NVIDIA's dominance.
A huge challenge. If a massive buyer like Meta starts shifting its spending to Google's in-house chips, it completely redraws the map for AI infrastructure.
Meanwhile, the 1MDB recovery efforts are still bearing fruit.
Yes, they've secured a major judgment in default, nearly US $2.8 billion against Geolo's associate Eric Tan.
And closer to home, Lynas Rare Earths hit a snag.
A supply chain vulnerability story right there. Power outages at their Australian plant are going to impact the finished goods coming out of their Malaysian refinery.
It just shows how interconnected everything is. And finally, the geopolitical tightrope.
President Trump is on the phone with Xi Jinping and Japan's Prime Minister Takaichi, trying to keep that trade truce alive. But the damage is already happening. China told its airlines to extend flight cuts to Japan all the way to March 2026.
Wow, that's a long time. That must be costing the Japanese tourism sector Billions.
Billions. And that really brings us to the core tension for investors, doesn't it? You've got this massive domestic strength in Malaysia, like the Johor Energy Project, pushing the market forward. But at the same time, you've got these persistent geopolitical risks, like the U.S.-China friction, that are actively hurting companies like Greatech.
So the big question for 2026 is which force wins out? You really need to think about how that push and pull between domestic growth and international volatility is going to direct capital flows. Something to definitely think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and please make sure you subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.